In the twilight, the neon light of a dive bar in Nashville flickered, creating shadows across the aged wooden floor. Tables at which Blake Shelton was seated, he was holding a cold beer in his hand while wearing a cowboy hat that was cocked back. The jukebox could be heard playing a song by Hank Williams, and the atmosphere was filled with the aroma of alcohol and dreams. Blake was not simply there to relax and unwind. He was dedicated to a cause. Gretchen Wilson, the firebrand who had once set country music ablaze with Redneck Woman, had been off the radar for far too long. Her absence had left a hole in the heart of the honky-tonk community in the United States, and Blake was determined to bring her back to the road. In June of 2025, the landscape of country music has undergone significant changes. The charts were dominated by the polished pop beats and auto-tuned hooks of the artists. But Blake was aware that the supporters were still looking for something genuine and unfiltered, such as Gretchen's voice singing about the tenacity and defiance of the people in tiny towns. She was the undisputed king of the early 2000s with songs that talked to truck drivers, bartenders, and dreamers. However, life, children, heartbreak, and the grind of the profession had caused her to withdraw from the music industry. It had been years since her previous record had been released, and her stage boots had not been worn for a long time. I'm telling you, Blake was not the type of person to let a legend deteriorate. Indeed, she has more tenacity than the majority of the new youngsters who are currently in the world. Blake spoke to his manager while leaning forward and maintaining a low but serious tone of voice. There is yet more to come from Gretchen Wilson. She is simply waiting for the proper spark. Another eyebrow was raised by his management. Your belief is that you can persuade her that she has been living a calm life. Maybe Blake does not want to be in the spotlight. Blake flashed that signature charm with a smile at the camera. Observe me. He pulled up in his pickup truck with dust swirling around him and discovered Gretchen sitting on the front porch, drinking sweet tea, her hair a wild tangle of blonde. The next day, he was on the way to Gretchen's property, which was a huge farm just outside of Lebanon, Tennessee, where the air smelled of hay and freedom. A used guitar was propped up against her chair, and her eyes, which were as sharp as they had ever been, analyzed him. Well, look who's slumming it. Gretchen drew a smirk and tugged at her lips. What's up, Shelton? I'm here to get you back on stage, he replied, diving right into the meat of the matter. You are the one who needs to give country music a kick in the rear end, and the fans miss you. She laughed. Country music needs a kick in the rear end. A husky tone that held the wisdom of years of hard work and experience. Are you under the impression that I'm going to simply get on a tour bus? You bat those eyelids. I have a kid and a life. I'm good here. However, Blake was not deterred by this. He had come prepared. He took out his phone and played a song that he had been working on for a while called Running Down a Dream. This is a gritty up-tempo banger that is about chasing the open road and leaving regrets in the dust in the process. It had been crafted specifically for their voices. The smooth and easy draw of his, and the rough and untamed edge of her at the same time as the song was playing, Gretchen's foot began to tap almost without her will. You wrote this for us? She asked her guard. Damn right, Blake responded. Are you in or what? It was sufficient for Blake to begin plotting because she did not respond positively, but she also did not respond negatively. During the subsequent few weeks, he utilized his connections in Nashville to get promoters, venues, and a band that could match Gretchen's intensity. He even managed to convince Carrie Underwood to make a late-night phone call to Gretchen. Carrie's words of support struck a chord with the two women as they formed a friendship amid the challenges of celebrity and parenting. You are still that redneck woman. Be sure that no one forgets about it. The announcement of the tour, which was given the name Hell on Wheels, was made in a blaze of social media anticipation. A blurry video of Blake and Gretchen jamming in a barn was uploaded to the internet by Blake. Just like a freight train, her voice is tearing through this place in preparation for the party. Fans shared old concert images and anecdotes of singing Redneck Woman at karaoke bars, and the internet went boom. Fans flooded the internet with posts that were labeled with the hashtag #GretchenBack. In less time than a Saturday night bar tab, tickets were completely sold out. The first performance took place in Memphis, and the atmosphere backstage was filled with a mixture of nervousness and enthusiasm. While Gretchen was standing in her dressing room, she was gazing at her reflection in a mirror that was broken. Her leather jacket was studded, and her boots had the perfect amount of scuff marks. Blake inserted his head into the conversation and threw her a shot of bourbon. She slammed the shot with a smirk on her face, ready to cause some trouble. As Gretchen walked out of the room, the crowd erupted in a noise that was like a tsunami reaching the shore. When the guitar was thrown low, it launched itself into the redneck woman with such intensity that it silenced any critics. In order to experience a dream, Blake came along with her. As their voices blended together like alcohol and smoke, the audience in the auditorium screamed every syllable. Gretchen appeared to have become more powerful by the time they arrived at the conclusion of a tumultuous night. Her voice was like a dagger that made its way through the years. Raw and honest songs about her experiences of losing love, parenting her kid, and finding herself again were among the new songs that she released. Fans were ecstatic about it, and critics who had previously dismissed her as unworthy of praise rushed to praise her comeback. Her music was described as the soul of country reborn in one review. Blake was the ideal companion, as he kept things light with his hilarious banter while also encouraging Gretchen to demonstrate her talents. During their time away from the stage, they shared stories while eating greasy diner food, joking about previous tours and near misses. It wasn't all sunshine and roses, however. There was a problem with the sound system in Dallas. Gretchen's Mick Madong, and she handled it like a champ, singing a cappella until the crowd took over and started singing for her. In Atlanta, a tabloid published a snide article about her wild days, and she responded to X by saying that she was upset. "Even now, I am still wild. Put an end to it." In addition to dealing with it, the fans did more. She was ripped by them. There were others who showed up singing her old hits and shouting for more, ranging from truckers dressed in flannel to college students wearing cowboy hats. Blake, ever the showman, was aware that he was there to watch something truly remarkable. In response to a reporter's question, he stated, "This is not just a tour, it's a Dan revival." Nashville's Ryman Auditorium, also known as the Mother Church of Country Music, played host to the final performance of the tour. At the moment that Gretchen took the stage, the atmosphere was ethereal and her daughter was observing from the wings. By the time they reached the conclusion of their set, she and Blake had already run down a dream. While the final note was being played, Gretchen reached for the microphone. As she spoke, her voice cracked as she continued, "This is for you. You all gave me a reason to come back," she concluded. Gretchen was already making preparations for her next move as Blake wrapped his arm around her and said, "Told ya you weren't done." The crowd was up and yelling from the excitement. An album, maybe another tour. The match had been lit by Blake, but she was the fire that was burning brighter than it ever had before. Gretchen Wilson had answered the call of the road, demonstrating that she was still determined to be the redneck woman that country music is looking for.